there we have it. Oh, good morning. For those of you here, I see some people just now hopping on. My name's Laura Beth. This is your gentle flow and deep stretch practice. So if you need a couple of blocks, grab those. You may or may not choose to use them. I'm going to have you start off in a seated position. Root your sits bones down into the ground. And then let your vertebrae stack one on top of the other like a staircase. So starting from your low back, moving up through your middle and upper thoracic spine, up to the cervical spine. And then once you get all the way up, notice the knots on the fronts of your shoulders and roll those back. So you'll feel an automatic lifting of your heart space. Your collarbones will open, right? And then you draw the pit of your belly in and up. This is a great spot to maybe go ahead and cue up your music if you're going to use it. And if it feels comfortable to you to close your eyes, we're in Sukhasana, so this is just an easy pose, a restful seated position. But you still sit with your best posture, because how you do anything is typically how you do everything, right? So we start off with good posture, lifted so that your rib cage has space to open, so your lungs have more space to breathe and go to full capacity. You can close down your eyes, you can gaze softly at a space before you, whatever works. Take a deep inhale, let your belly expand, your rib cage will open in all four directions, your lungs to full capacity. And then you exhale, empty down, relax your shoulders from your ears, pull your belly in and up. Inhale. And exhale. Now you don't take your next inhale until that exhale is really, really empty. And then you inhale. And exhale. Now I'm going to begin to count. So inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Flicker open your eyes. Take an inhale, reach your arms out and up. And then exhale, bring your hands down to your heart center. Your thumbs are going to touch your sternum, but you want to lift your chest. And then slowly release, rock back so that you can take your right leg out in front of you, the sole of your left foot towards your right inner thigh. And then inhale, reach your arms up overhead. And as you exhale, fold over your right thigh. Relax your shoulders back and down. Let your spine be long. So Janu Shirshasana A, there can be a bend to your right knee, your right leg can be straight. Ideally you feel this in the belly of your hamstring, not your right knee, not your gluteal fold, where your glute and your hamstring connect. Good, y'all. Now inhale, lift your shoulders slightly again. And as you exhale, move your left knee open a little bit more. So there's some space now between the sole of your left foot and your right inner thigh. You might even lift and kind of cock your left hip back slightly, right? If that opening is too much, skip it. Now inhale, reach your arms up overhead. And once more, exhale, fold forward. Now if having that space between your left foot and your right inner thigh is too much for your left knee, you're going to just slide your left foot back in. This is also intensifying whatever's happening on the low back on the left side. Just breathe here. The more your navel can spin towards your right thigh bone, the more the hips kind of aid you in your posture. completely exhale. And with your inhale, lift your gaze. And then exhale, walk your hands back, bring your shoulders over your hips. Your left hand will come behind your left hip. Root your palm down. Then as you inhale, swing your right arm forward. Come up onto your left knee, your left shin, your right foot goes flat. Lift your chest. This is a modified, wild thing. And then if you want to swing your right arm around, do that. Good, y'all. You can go in both directions. And then you'll take one more inhale. And as you exhale, slowly sit yourself down and face back forward. Lift your left knee. And then cross your left foot to the outside of your right thigh. Root both sits bones down on the ground. Flex your right foot. And then with your left hand behind you, inhale, reach your right arm to the sky. And then exhale, you can just hug your left knee in as you twist to the left. If you've got a little bit more space in your spine today, you could slide your right elbow outside your left knee. Whatever works for you. Continue to lift your chest. Lengthen your spine. Turn your gaze towards your left shoulder, maybe. And breathe. Nice, y'all. Your right leg is active, so the toes are flexed back towards your shin. Take one more inhale. Turn your gaze forward. Now as you exhale, drop your hands over to the right and take your counter twist. I'm going to give you the option to do something here. If you want, you can turn, you're going to take your right hand behind your right hip. Turn your fingertips towards the back of your mat. Now turn your left toes towards the long edge of your mat. Root down into your right hand and then lift your hips. So it's like a modified side plank. Your left toes are pointing towards the right side of the room. And then rather than really focusing today on the oblique portion of this from your side plank, I want you to really focus on opening up through your left side body. Reach your left fingertips towards the back of your mat. Maybe you take your gaze up, breathe. One more inhale. And then exhale, slowly sit yourself back down, face back forward. Leave your right leg as it is. And then cross your left knee on top of the right knee, the right thigh. You could bring your left heel in towards your right outer thigh. So I'll face forward for a moment so you can see. So it looks kind of like this. It's like a half knee pile, half Gomukhasana, yeah? So if that feels good to you, you're here. Breathe here. Roll your shoulders back. I'm going to lift my chest. This is my inhale. And then slowly as I'm ready, I might start to fold forward with my exhale. If that's way too much on the knees or the hips, you're going to stay lifted and be happy with that and just be there. Roll your shoulders back. Pull the pit of your belly in without overdoing the abdominal engagement, right? It's a drawing in more than it is like a hardening of the muscles. Breathe. Feel this release through the low back as well as your right hamstring. Take one more inhale here. And then slowly walk yourself up. Now, if this is the place you need to stay, you're going to stay. If you've got a little bit more space, you might bend your right knee and bring your right heel towards your left outer hip, right? And then from there, so now you've got both knees bent, stacking on top of one another. With your inhale, reach your right arm out and up. And then as you exhale, drop your right hand in between your shoulder blades. Take your left hand to your right elbow to start. Let's get a little bit of a stretch through the right tricep. And let the back of your skull press into the underside of your right forearm. Now if you need a little bit more, you can take your left arm out, internally rotate the upper arm bone, and then slide your left hand also in between your shoulder blades. It's like your fingertips are trying to interlace. If that's not going to happen this morning, it's all good. You can just leave your hands there. You can grab your shirt, right? But both upper arm bones are internally rotated. Now you're more than welcome to stay lifted, or you can inhale, lengthen your spine, use your right elbow to get taller. And then on the exhale, you can kind of hinge forward. Now those of you who your chin clears your left knee, you can work Jalandhara Bandha, but you want your sits bones to stay flat. So as you're coming forward, you might tuck your chin, like hook it on your left knee. Breathe. You might also stay lifted. Awesome, y'all. Take one more inhale. And slowly release as you exhale. I usually have to kind of turn my head a little bit and roll my shoulders. And then you're going to rock slightly backwards, unravel your legs, bring the soles of your feet together, your heels in towards your sits bones. Scoot your pelvis towards your heels for Baddha Konasana, your butterfly pose. So you can bring your hands towards your feet, if that feels good to you. With the inhale, lengthen your spine. And on your exhale, shift forward, kind of hinge at your hips, lead with your heart. Relax your shoulders from your ears and breathe. If you feel this in your kneecaps at all, or the outer or inner knee, you would lift your shoulders back up and then maybe decrease the bend in your knee, right? The angle. And then shift back forward again. Breathe here. Slowly lift yourself back up. Bring your knees together. And then take your left leg long. Oh, my hip just popped. Bring the sole of your right foot into your left inner thigh. Janu Shirshasana. Now we're just going to take all of that on the opposite side. Inhale, reach your arms up overhead. The sole of your right foot is pressing actively into your left inner thigh. And then exhale, hinge at your left hip. Reach your chest forward, guys. So notice that it's not about reaching your toes if you have to arch your back. It's about bending your left knee and getting your chest to your thigh and lengthening so that you're releasing out of your low back and not straining it, right? Relax your shoulders back and down. Take a deep breath in. As you breathe in, you know you're breathing in. And as you breathe out, you know that you're breathing out. Inhale to lift your gaze. Kind of walk yourself back up as you exhale so that you can create some space between your right foot and your left inner thigh. So you might even kind of cock your right hip open a little bit. But remember, if that's too much, you can skip it. You can do Janu Shirshasana A, traditional, all over again. Inhale, arms up overhead. And then exhale, fold yourself down. It's a lot on the right hip, right? So it's all good. Breathe here. Relax your brows. You can also be using a strap or a t-shirt here around your left foot. All right, y'all. And with your inhale, lift your gaze. Nice and slow. As you exhale, bring your shoulders back over your hips. Now with your inhale, bring your right hand behind your right hip. And then you can swim your left arm forward. Press down into your right palm. Come onto your right knee, your right shin. Lift your hips, lift your chest. Reach your left arm, and then you can circle it around if it feels good. Just remember to make sure you go in both directions so you get into your shoulder girdle, your shoulder joint, your rotator cuff, all of it, yeah? Take one more inhale. And then as you exhale, sit yourself back down, being careful with your right shoulder, elbow, and wrist. And then inhale, lift your right knee. And exhale, cross your right foot to the outside of your left leg. Now your right hand comes behind your right hip. Drop your sit bone down to the ground. Inhale, reach your left arm up to the sky. And then exhale, twist into the right. Hug your left arm around your right knee, your right thigh. Now, I want you to lengthen with your inhale. And then the twist goes a little bit deeper as you exhale. Gaze over your right shoulder, maybe. But remember, the more you can lengthen your spine, so imagine like a slinky, right? The more you can lengthen that, when you start to twist it, rather than it getting bunched up and all stuck together, it twists and rotates on top of each other, right? So try for that. Now on your next inhale, turn your gaze forward. And on the exhale, counter over to the left. Drop your hands down to the left side of your mat. Get yourself a little counter twist first. Now lift your shoulders back. You can stay right here. If you want to go a little bit deeper, bring your left hand behind your left hip. Your fingertips point to the back of your mat. Turn your right toes towards the long edge of your mat. And then you inhale, press down into your left palm and your right foot. You're on the outer edge of your left foot. And then today, instead of really focusing on what's happening in the left side oblique, I know you probably feel a little bite there. I want you to really bow up through the right side body and feel everything from kind of underneath your armpit to the top of your right hip, that whole stretch that's happening on your right side body. So take one more inhale here. And then exhale, sit yourself down, rotate back forward. And then it's half Gomukhasana on this side. So cross your right leg, your right knee on top of your left thigh, your left knee. Flex your left foot. Let your leg be active. And then take a flex to your right foot so that you're protecting your right kneecap. Now with your inhale, reach your arms up overhead. And then exhale, fold over. Let your hands maybe find your left foot. Lengthen your spine and then just feel it out for a second, right? So I was talking to one of my really good friends, Crystal Sangelo, for those of y'all who know her, yoga teacher. And we were cracking up about how she and I are like, make it, feel good. And then we're like, but you got to put your foot here and your hand here and your fourth right rib goes here, right? So with all of that to be said, what we're trying to do is teach you to be your own teacher, but give you kind of the rough, loose guidelines of typical placement and alignment, right? And then you kind of go from there for yourself. All right, y'all. Slowly bring your shoulders back up over your hips. Bend your left knee if you want to for that second round. It's full Gomukhasana on the legs. You're going to flex your feet to support your knees. Now your heels can come all the way in or your feet could come out more parallel, right? Sit here for a moment and then inhale, reach your left arm out and up. On the exhale, drop your left hand in between your shoulder blades. Your right hand catches your left elbow and you stretch. Now lift your chin slightly so that the back of your skull is touching that soft space of the underside of your left forearm, right? And then if this is great, take an inhale, reach your right arm out. Spin your upper arm bone inward. And then drop your right hand down and then lift it up around the small of your back and let your fingertips reach up towards your shoulder blades. Good, y'all. Now breathe here. Pull the pit of your belly in and up. Now you can stay just like this. You could inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. You can hook your chin onto your right kneecap, kind of outside of it. Whatever it is that you need. Just breathe here. You can even close your eyes or take your drishti, your gaze, towards your nose, the tip, right? And remember, as you breathe in, you know that you're breathing in. And as you breathe out, you know that you're breathing out. Now take an inhale here. And then as you exhale, slowly release and let all of that go. All right, y'all. Shake it out, roll it out. And then bring your hands back behind your hips, unravel for a moment. And then if you would like, you can turn long ways on your mat or you can just stay facing forward, right? It's all good. Take your legs out. You want your knees and your toes to point up. Now you can bring your hands behind your hips and kind of press through. Inhale, lengthen here. And then exhale, fold yourself down in between your thighs. Your hands, your elbows, your forearms can come to the ground. But make sure, again, knees and toes point up. And breathe. Relax your brows, relax your jaw. If you have the space to come all the way down flat on the ground, feel free. All right, y'all. Now take one more inhale. And exhale. Slowly bring yourself back up, shoulders over your hips. And then you might bring your feet together. And then when you're ready, find your box pose. Hands and knees. Stack your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists. Your knees underneath your hips. Now spread your fingers out wide. Once you're here, as you inhale, let a soft belly drop down towards the ground. Lift your chin, lift your tail. And then you exhale, reverse the movement. Dome out your upper back, tuck your chin, tuck your tail, and really separate out your vertebra. Now on your inhale, roll back through, soft belly down. There's a sway to your low back, lift your chin, lift your tail. And then exhale, reverse the movement. Dome out your upper back, separate your shoulder blades. And then inhale, last round. And exhale. Inhale to your neutral spine. Now on the exhale, you can flip your fingers, your left fingers, either out to the side edge of your mat, or you can flip them back to where they're pointing towards your left knee. And then step your right foot to the back and come onto the ball of your right foot. So here you can kind of rock forward and backward if you like. You're getting a little stretch in your left forearm, your left wrist, and your right calf. And you might even just hold it for a moment, but zip your low belly in and up and keep breathing. All right, now restack your joints. And as you inhale, lift your right leg and float your left arm forward, just for a moment. Feel your navel draw in and up. Everything is supported. Take one more inhale, and then exhale, bring your left hand down to the ground. Inhale, press your right heel back. And then exhale, step your right foot forward next to your right thumb. Lift your left knee and slide it back so that your left hip, thigh, and knee catch a diagonal. All right, so from here, your left hand stays down on the ground. Inhale, float your right arm up to the sky. And then stay for your exhale. Good. Take one more inhale. And then exhale, bring your right hand down to the earth. Shift your hips back and straighten your right leg. Flex your toes back towards your shin. Now with your inhale, lengthen your spine, pull your heart forward. And then exhale, slide your navel towards your right thigh bone so that you can draw your right hip back and your left hip forward while you breathe. Good. Now you can stay right here, or if you need to kind of stretch the top of your right foot, you can even work your right toes down, lift them, all that good stuff. Getting into your ankle joint as well. Perfect. You might even kind of roll it around. Just be gentle. And then back here, so you're also now back in your half split. Could you bring your left hand down and reach your right arm up to the sky again? So it's a little bit different. Breathe. Maybe your gaze follows your right fingertips. Take one more inhale. And then exhale, drop your right hand down to the ground. On the inhale, slowly walk yourself forward. Curl up your back toes. Now lift your back knee. On the exhale, it's a giant step forward to your forward fold. Drop your left foot next to the right. And then drape your chest over your thighs. You can take a soft bend to your knees. Let your head hang down. You could also take opposite elbows for a ragdoll if you wanted to do that here. But keep pressing down into all four corners of both feet so that you've got a nice, strong foundation here. Good, y'all. And just breathe. Perfect, y'all. next inhale, roll all the way up to standing. Reach your arms out and up, look up. Stay for your exhale. Now with your inhale, reach your fingertips a little bit higher. Let your navel pull up and away from your pubic bone. Your sternum up and away from your navel. So every time you come here, getting as long as you can on the front side body. Good. Now with your exhale, take your elbows back and down and lift your chest. Good. Now inhale here. And then exhale, bind up your hands at the small of your back. So interlace your fingers. Inhale, roll your shoulders back, puff up your chest. And then exhale your navel in towards your spine. Hinge at your hips and forward fold. Let the crown of your head hang down and your fist work its way up and over towards the ground. Remember to still keep your deep, even breath. One more inhale here. And then exhale, drop your hands down to the ground. Now inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, step your left foot to the back of your mat and drop your left heel down. Bend your right knee. Inhale, take your arms up overhead. Reach your fingertips to the sky. Your shoulders are over your hips. So it's Warrior One, Virabhadrasana A. And then just be here for a moment as you exhale. So get nice and sturdy. Your right hip is pulling back, your left hip slightly forward. And then when you're ready, let me fix this little guy here. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, interlace your fingers and drop your hands behind your head. Open your elbows out. Good. So with your inhale, lift your chin, lift your chest. So it's like a back bend here. And then on the exhale, round it back forward and bring your elbows towards one another. Zip the pit of your belly in. Inhale, lift, arch, and open. And exhale, round through your upper back and take your elbows towards one another. You've got one more. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, slowly lift yourself back up. Release your hands, reach them out and up. And then exhale, bring your hands down to the ground and straighten your right leg for a moment and flush out your right hamstring and your right hip. Pull your right hip back, your left hip forward. So you could have hands on blocks or on either side of your right foot. Good, y'all. On your inhale, bend back into your right knee. And then as you exhale, step your right foot back. Lift your hips up and back to a downward facing dog. Your chest in towards your thighs. Let the crown of your head hang down. Maybe sway your hips side to side. I do believe this is our first downward facing dog of the whole practice. So there you go. And then inhale, roll to the balls of your feet. Let your knees and your shins come down to the ground with control. And then exhale, take your hips to your heels. Walk your arms forward. Let your forehead come down. Once you're there, relax your shoulders from your ears. You can roll your forehead side to side. Good, y'all. Now inhale, press back up into your box pose. And then exhale, kind of stack everything back up. Now this time, you can turn your right fingertips out to the side edge of your mat or flip them back towards your right knee. The choice is yours. And then step your left foot to the back of your mat and curl your toes up underneath. And then you're going to rock forward and backward nice and slow. Good, y'all. If it feels better to just be still, then just be still. It's perfect. And then eventually you'll find stillness again. Zip the pit of your belly in and up. And then inhale, float your right arm forward, your left arm back. Zip the navel to your spine. Stay right here. Just enough to fire up your core so that you teach yourself how to support the rest of your body. Take one more inhale. Exhale, let your right hand come down. Inhale, press your left heel long. And then exhale, step your left foot all the way forward, right next to your left thumb, but lift your right knee and slide it back so you catch that diagonal from your hip to your thigh. Perfect, y'all. So let your hands stay down. You're going to feel that opening across the front of your right hip to start with. Let your right hand stay down to the ground. And then inhale, float your left arm up to the sky. You're going to stack your shoulders. Roll your right shoulder back, open up through your chest. Breathe here. Perfect, y'all. Take one more inhale. And then as you exhale, bring your left hand down. And then shift your hips back and straighten your left leg. Flex your toes back towards your shin. Pull your left hip back, your right hip forward, and breathe. Allow for your navel to draw towards your thigh so that your left hip, and you kind of naturally start to square off here, right? Now, same thing goes. If you need to work the top of your left foot, start to take your toes down, and then maybe you lift them back up. You take the toes down and lift them back up. Just be here. Breathing in and out. And then if you want to play with it a little bit, you kind of slide your hands back, root your right palm down into the ground. You've got to zip your navel in and up, and then inhale, reach your left arm open to the sky for a different kind of a twist. Perfect, y'all. Take one more inhale. And then as you exhale, let your left hand come back down to the ground. Now inhale to walk yourself forward. You'll curl up your back toes, lift your back knee, and then exhale, step your right foot to the top of your mat for your forward fold. Take your chest to your thighs, drop your head down. And then as you inhale, come all the way up to standing. Reach your arms out and up. Look up. Good. And then exhale, take your elbows back and down so that you can lift your chest. And then inhale, arms reach back to the sky. Exhale, fold yourself down, crown of your head down. Inhale to lengthen your spine. Now exhale, bring your hands down, step your right foot back and let the right heel go flat. You're at like a 45-degree angle. Inhale, bend your left knee. Bring your shoulders over your hips, your arms up overhead. Warrior one, left side. Now as you exhale, just kind of settle in. Breathe here. You want to press actively into the outer edge of your right foot and let your left knee track your heel or your ankle. Take an inhale. And then as you exhale, interlace your fingers and bring your hands to the back of your head. Good, y'all. So right here, you got to pull the pit of your belly in and up. Now with your inhale, lift your chin. Let your elbows open out. You're going to feel this in that upper middle thoracic spine area. On the exhale, round your upper back and bring your elbows towards one another. Good. Inhale. For those of you who know Amy Johnson, I got this from her. She's amazing. And then exhale, round your upper back, elbow to elbow. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. Now inhale, slowly lift the crown of your head, open your elbows. Exhale, release your hands, bring them down to the ground and straighten your left leg so that you can flush out your left hip and your left hamstring. Pull your left hip back, your right hip forward, press down into the big toe ball mound of your left foot. Breathe here. Good, y'all. On your inhale, slight lift of your chest. You might bend into your left knee, and then you exhale, step your left foot back to your downward facing dog, and you breathe. Lift your hips up and back to that diagonal inverted letter V shape. And then when you're ready, take an inhale, soft bend to your knees. And as you exhale, bring your knees and your shins down to the ground. And your hips to your heels. Find your child's pose. This time in child's pose, if you want to bring your hands, your arms down around towards your feet, feel free to do so. Let your shoulders kind of wrap forward. Now bring your hands down to the ground. Inhale, lift yourself back up to your box pose. And then exhale, let's move right back into a downward facing dog. We're wrapping this up, y'all. So from here, let your left shin come down to the ground. So your left knee, your left shin are down. Your right leg is still back. Now spin your left toes out to the long edge of your mat and drop your right foot down. Root your left palm down and reach your right arm up to the sky. And then really bow out through your right side body and reach your right fingertips towards the top of your mat. And then press down into the outer edge of your right foot. I want you to feel this opening on the right side body that gets from the bottom floating rib to the top of your hip. Good. Now same thing, you can drop your right hand behind your head. Your left hand is still rooted down. Now take your right elbow towards the top of your mat. With your inhale, you kind of open yourself up. And then on the exhale, rotate your heart and your right elbow down to point towards your mat. Inhale, open and lift. And exhale, contract and twist. One more. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, take your right elbow, your right hand back to the sky. Your gaze follows. And then exhale, bring your right hand down. Spin back onto your right foot. Step your left foot to the back of your mat. Inhale, float your right leg up to the sky. And then exhale, bring your right knee forward and find your half pigeon. Perfect, y'all. So let your right shin go parallel to the top of the mat. Let your left leg be nice and long. Flex your right foot. Now with your inhale, lift your chest and pull your heart forward. And on the exhale, drape yourself down. Your arms can reach forward, out to the side, or all the way back. You're going to be here for a little bit. So if you don't love this, you can go on your back and do a supine half pigeon, crossing your right ankle over your left knee. Or you can take Agni Stambhas in your double pigeon, crossing your left shin on top of the right. Breathe here. All right, y'all. So I've got an offering for you. You can stay as you are, or you can bring your hands back. And then on your inhale, you're gonna kind of roll over to the right-ish, but it's so that you can come through center, sit down, both knees point up, and then you exhale, roll over to the left, right? So now your knees are kind of both in this 90-degree bend. Inhale, roll back through center. Exhale, back to the top. Both knees are bent. Inhale, come through center. Exhale, rotate to the back of your mat. Inhale through center. Exhale, rotate to the top. Nicely done. Now roll over to the right so that you can sit down on both sits bones. I'm going to cross my feet at the ankles, rock forward. and just step back into a downward facing dog. So however you get there is perfect. Lift your hips. Sway side to side if you need to. Whatever feels right. And then bring your right knee, right shin down to the ground. So your shoulders are stacked over your wrist. Your left leg, your foot is down on the earth. Spin your right toes towards the right, so to the long edge of your mat. Let your left foot go flat. Your right palm roots and your left arm reaches up and over. So you're back into this modified side plank. Reach your left fingertips towards the top of your mat. And then really press into the outer edge of your left foot. Feel that deep stretch through the left side of your body. Pull the pit of your belly in. Take a deep inhale. And exhale. And then if you're into it, inhale. Exhale, drop your left fingertips behind your head. And then inhale, take your left elbow towards the top of your mat. And then as you exhale, rotate your heart and your elbow down towards the floor. Inhale, lift and open. Take your elbow towards the top of your mat and exhale. Contract. Last one, inhale. And exhale. Perfect, y'all. Now inhale, take your left elbow back to the sky. Reach your fingertips up, gaze up. And then exhale, drop your left hand down. So you kind of pivot onto the ball of your left foot so that you can lift your right knee and step your foot back into your downward facing dog. Whatever you need to do here. Then inhale, float your left leg up to the sky. And exhale, bring your left knee to your left wrist. Your left shin kind of comes forward. Slide your right leg long, unless you need to do a different variation on your back or even double pigeon. Let your right hip kind of rotate forward and feel heavy. Pull the pit of your belly in. Inhale, lift your chest. Pull it forward. And then exhale to melt yourself down and let it go. Just soft flex to your left foot to take care of your knee. Slide your hands back, lift your chest. If it would be easier, go ahead and bend your right knee and bring it into that kind of 90-degree bend so that you're already set up, right? Now, you inhale kind of, it's a small roll to the left so that you can actually open up to the right. But so then lift your knees, you're through center, and then you exhale, rotate towards the back of your mat. So now your right leg is in front. Inhale, rock back for center, exhale to the top of your mat. Just take this a few times, moving, just trying to find that fluidity that we mentioned earlier. Doing something we don't always do. If it hurts, maybe skip it, but if it's just a little bit uncomfortable, maybe just take a little bit more time with it, right? The next time you come back to the front of your mat, roll slightly over to the left so that you can bring your right leg back around. All right. So from here, bring your feet down to the ground about hip-width distance apart. And then your hands back behind your hips. Roll your shoulders back. And inhale, lift your hips and come into a reverse tabletop for just a moment. Press down into the webbing between your thumb and your forefinger. Roll your shoulders back. Your gaze is at the ceiling. Take one more inhale. Really fire up your hamstrings for that moment. And then exhale to sit yourself down. Now, take your arms out by the side, palms face up, and you're gonna roll down one vertebra at a time. So really take your time. And then once you get down, you have the option to either take a cobbler's bridge or a traditional bridge. So cobbler's bridge would be with your knees hanging open, your feet together, heels towards your sits bones. Your hands will come down next to your hips. Traditional bridge, your knees are pointing up and your feet are down. Inhale, lift your hips up into the sky. And just stay here as you exhale. Take maybe 3 breaths here. And then you might notice that you kind of bounce or kind of quiver or shake, and that's totally good. That's normal. It's all fine. Just keep breathing. And then slowly come down one vertebra at a time. Take your time, let your spine rest back down on the ground. And then bring your knees together and hug your knees in towards your chest. Wrap your arms around your shins for a moment. And then let your left leg go long. Keep hugging your right knee in. And then you can hook your right toes behind your left knee. Inhale, open your arms to a T. And then exhale, drop your right knee over to the left and turn your gaze to the right. Breathe. Try to keep both shoulders heavy, rooted to the ground. And then on your inhale, slowly come back for center. Hug both knees in towards your chest. And then you'll keep the left leg in, but let your right leg extend long. Hug it in just a little bit tighter. And then you can hook your left toes around your right knee. Open your arms to a T, take your inhale, and then exhale, drop your knee to the right and turn your gaze to the left. And breathe. Your next inhale, slowly release and roll back to center. And on the exhale, find a happy baby. Peace fingers to your big toes. Flex your feet towards the sky. Now I had a request to teach other inversions and things like that, but not for this class. But someone did ask me to teach shoulder stand. And so here's the deal. I haven't been doing it on live streams because frankly, I don't want you looking around, and I can't see you, and so I get nervous that I cannot help guide you. If you want to try shoulder stand, the first place to go is take your feet up to the sky. All right, so you're in your waterfall, legs at the wall. It's a perfect place to stop. And I implore you not to look at the device you're using to take this class if you go any deeper, right? It will tweak your neck. You cannot. If you want your shoulder stand, you inhale, lift your hips, and let your hands come to the small of your back. Now, ideally, at some point, your elbows really start to come in towards one another, and you'll notice that your pinky fingers come together at the small of your back. So you're opening up through your chest. Now, your gaze, like my gaze right now is like at my toes. It could also be at the tip of your nose, right? Just make sure you're not looking side to side. Now, also, you don't want that little C7 to be pressing down into the ground, so the base of your cervical spine. So there should be a slight lifting right there, right? And then you would stack. So a lot of us end up doing this weird, like, not shoulder stand because we're not stacking our shoulders, our hips, our knees, and our ankles. We're typically stacking like our T4, right? So you got to kind of watch that. And again, when you're not in a class where I can see you, it's hard for me to let you know. And then you breathe, right? And then once you're here, this is a great place you can stay for like a minute, right? You can stay for longer. If you wanted halasana, your plow pose, you drop your toes over your head. Now your gaze is like right in between your thighs. And the same thing's happening with your hands, right? There's an internal rotation to your thigh bones. And then if you were going to take ear pressure pose, you would bend your knees and cover up your ears. Now you come out the same way you came in, nice and slow with control. You go one vertebra at a time until your hips are back down on the ground, right? And then you can hug your knees in towards your chest. You can bring your forehead up to your knees, whatever you need. If you want your full wind removing pose, go there. And then if you're using my playlist, you'll want to skip on over to the last song at this point. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, open up into your Shavasana. Let your legs extend forward. Your feet will hang comfortably open. And your arms down by the side, body palms face up. Close down your eyes. Relax your brows and your jaw. Let everything get heavy. And rest. What you need is to be here a little bit longer. You're going to tune me out and stay right where you are. No need to get up to do anything at all. But if you are ready, you begin to deepen your breath, to wiggle your fingers and your toes. And on your inhale, you'll reach your arms up overhead and find your full body stretch. And as you exhale, hug your knees in towards your chest and wrap your arms around your shins. And then slowly either roll over to the right or rock up to your comfortable, easy sit, just right where you are. Sit up nice and tall, roll your shoulders back and down. Take that final moment, that pause to be grateful for your body, for what it does for you today. to be hopeful for tomorrow. Thank you all for stepping on your mats, whatever time it is that you take this practice. I appreciate you. So have a great rest of your day. Peace be with you. Namaste.